call to order at 7:01 p.m. on Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Roll call.
Todd Barron. Here. Tim Bass.
Here.
Jennifer Bowen.
Here.
Walter Bright.
Here. John
Kavanaugh.
Here.
Jeanette Kaza.
Here.
Collins Kendrick. Shannon Wood.
Here.
We have a quorum.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming. We have an exciting presentation to begin our board meeting this evening. Outside of our normal business that we will be conducting today, we have a group of 4 young ladies from our Pleasant Valley School that I can speak for myself and the Board of Education and the entire administrative team and all your teachers when I say we are endlessly proud of what you've done for yourselves, your hard work, and how you represented our school district. Recently at the New Jersey School Board's Steam Tank Challenge, this group of students placed first in the New Jersey School Board Steam Tank Challenge in the elementary division for their creation of the Unsinkable bracelets. So ladies, can you stand up for me? And can you introduce yourselves to the Board of Education one at a time so you can start?
I'm the student and I'm
And who would like to tell us just a little bit so that we can introduce your video? We're gonna share the video of your presentation, but who can tell us just a little bit about the Unsinkable bracelet? Maybe like in 2 sentences, and then we're gonna watch a presentation. So when our students participate in the Steam Tank Challenge, they look at a problem that faces us as a society as a whole, and they develop a product or develop a potential solution to that problem. So as Jana said, the problem that our girls worked on was drowning incidents. So you guys can have a seat, and I'm going to start your presentation so that everybody can see.
As 4th graders, team members Izzy, Sophie, Gianna, and Natalie joined forces in their mission to reduce drowning incidents with their innovative wearable technology and Unsinkable bracelet. Made from recycled stainless steel, plastic, and eco-friendly rubber, the bracelet has a variety of sensors to track water depth, movement, and has a GPS sensor to set the perimeter for any body of water, increasing parent visibility and location for tracking their child. So everyone please welcome Pleasant Valley School. Sophie Lynch, Izzy Driscoll, Adelaide, Gianna. Okay, we're all here. Okay. Now you guys are ready to start. Unsinkable bracelet by Team Unsinkable. Hi, I'm Izzy Driscoll. I'm Sophie Lynch. I'm Gianna Mesa, and I'm Adelaide Postaway. Greetings. We're the Unsinkable team. Our invention can make swimming safer for people who struggle to swim. We learned that in 2022, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old in our tragically drowned. We came up with the Unsinkable bracelet to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Unfortunately, there are about 4,000 people yearly who lose their lives due to drowning. Team Unsinkable
our invention today. Our features include movement, measuring depth, tracking time underwater, geofencing, and running a loud alert to let you know that your child is in danger.
Here are some scenarios of how a bracelet would help. You're at the beach and you want to make sure your young kids don't get too far out in the ocean. So you set up a geofence with your phone. The geofence will move on the location of the bracelet, which will beep on the app to alert you when the bracelet goes too far out, passing the geofence. You're at a pool party and your child who needs swimmers forgets to put them back on and jumps in the pool without anyone noticing. As soon as this happens, the app on your phone will alert you that your child is in the pool so you will help them. This actually happened at a pool party we went to last summer. A younger sibling jumped in the pool while everyone was eating pizza. Luckily, someone was still in the pool and got him out. We were trying to promote that if there's no one in the pool with them.
You may be wondering if this already exists. The technology exists, but the application as we propose is not. An example of a similar product is this inflatable airbag, which is programmed to shoot out a bracelet to help the victim float. But it does not tell you when they're in trouble. Ours is able to be when someone has fallen into the water.
Another similar product is this bracelet. It does help kids, adults, and pets, but only works when it is near a transmitter, which is bulky. For hours, you only need your phone, which is easy to bring with you everywhere.
Our device can tell how deep you are in the water by using a pressure sensor. The deeper you go, the more pressure you feel, like when your ears pop. It knows when it's in water by using a conductivity sensor that feels the water is around. It can find where you are using GPS, which uses satellites in the sky to know your exact spot.
For geofencing, we will use GPS coordinates to find the perimeter of a body of water. When a bracelet is purchased, it will come with the app. The buyer will walk around the body of water with their phone and the coordinates will be selected.
To make our prototype, we purchased a water sensor and attached it to an existing waterproof bracelet. Here's a demonstration of our prototype. We also consulted a patent lawyer to find out what was needed. Unfortunately, we were unable to get a utility patent as our idea shares technology that is already patented for Apple. We reached out to an app developer to see what was possible in order to write code for the application. We began fundraising efforts to raise money for patent, app development, and sensor testing. We intend to apply for grants through the National Drowning Prevention Alliance, NJSBA. You can get our bracelets in youth or adult sizes, and there are so many fun colors and themes to choose from.
The bracelet will be made with sustainable materials. We looked at a few different bracelet models, including Apple Watch, Disney Band, and a resort key band. We plan to use recycled and eco-friendly materials from recycling centers and donations. We looked up the cost per ounce for recycled ocean plastic, natural rubber, and stainless steel. We estimated the watch to be 2 ounces. We also looked up Apple Watch component costs for computing and sensors. We expect to sell the bracelet for $75 to $100. We are working on fundraising for patent, app development through bake sales, raffles, and other fundraising events at school, including our STEM night. We are also working on band designs for kids and adults. Once we are able to raise enough money to make our products, we will begin marketing efforts.
Every minute counts. We're building a watch that saves lives. To spread the word, we'll make flyers for schools, plays, and schools. Put up signs and swim clubs, and share on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We'll also reach out to theme parks and cruise ships. People who would need this are parents, lifeguards, families with special needs, and places like water parks and cruise lines.
Thank you for listening to our presentation. We are very passionate about the Unsinkable bracelet and hope our products can give people peace of mind when they are around a body of water.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to our winners and also our families who have provided a tremendous amount of support through this project. Yes.
First of all, girls, congratulations. Absolutely amazing. I should be the very first customer. We have a customer in May. I'm sure many other people in this room. And number two, I want to see you guys on Shark Tank. So apply. If I do apply until you're on Shark Tank. Please.
We are working on it.
Yes. Yes. Fantastic.
Thank you so much. And we certainly know that girls are busy with a lot of different things, families are busy, so you can feel free to go or stay for the Board of Education meeting. It's completely up to you, but we're going to take just a little brief break now before we present our state test results. So once again, thank you so much, and thank you for bringing the girls.
I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people, so help me God. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the office of member of a Board of Education, and that I am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19-4-1. Nor disqualified due to conviction of a crime or offense listed in NJSA 18A-12-1. And that I will faithfully, impartially and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Okay. Congratulations. We are going to move on to Mrs. Keenan, our Chief Academic Officer's presentation of our 2005 NJSBA data. Now, just so that the Board of Education is aware version. So that will be posted for public on the Board of Education a little greater length. But for the purposes of today, I just kind of want to give you an overview of the state assessment results and answering questions that you may have. So general information is the state assessment is called the NJSBA for short. It's given annually in grades 3 through 6 in both ELA and mathematics. Students in grade 5 and 8, if you were in a regional district, are also assessed in science. And beginning this year, the assessment is going to shift. It's called NJSBA Adaptive, so it's going to become an adaptive test, similar to iReady that we use here in the district. If a student gets questions wrong, it adapts to become a little easier. If they get it right, it adapts to become somewhat harder. The state is still very much in the beginning phases of this. We did a field test recently, and they were sampling questions, so they still don't have the test put together for this grade, so I'm not quite sure what the data will look like next year or how they'll come up with proficiency, but there is a shift for next year. So how it works is students get a scale score based on what they are given, so it's all grade level. Levels 4 and 5 are considered passing. Level 3, even though this is approaching expectation, is not considered passing. So as you go up on the scale, you're more successful as the scale score is lower. Level 1 being the lowest did not meet any expectations, level 2 partially, 3, and then 4 and 5 being the passing score. All right, so our specifics for our district. So our overall performance this year across grades 3 through 6 for language arts is 69% in both the meeting and exceeding categories. Grade 4 had the strongest performance this year. Grade 3 being on the lower side, which is pretty typical across the state because it's their first time being exposed to that type of test. And as we go through, I'll show you some different variations of the data. This is our multi-year data. So each bar graph represents a grade, and it begins in 2019, which is helpful because that's a pre-COVID year. So you'll see most of the spikes are the highest in 2018-19, but fortunately we have made some significant growth and we're almost right there in many of the grade levels, and some even matching, like 4th grade we're now at pre-pandemic level, which we're proud of. But that will explain the dip there. We're seeing steady upward progress post-COVID. This year we saw an increase overall from 67% to 70. Just want to see if this little light works here. So this is an average of all the grades, so from 67 to 70, so a 3% increase. And growth is consistent across the grade levels and across districts, so that's good for our average. It's not just based on one grade outperforming the rest, it's consistent across all grade levels. And then this graph shows levels 1 and 2. So here, the lower the score is, the better, because you want the least amount of students performing at levels 1 and 2. Looks like we stayed consistent at 13% to 13%. So although we have went down over the years from 17 to 18 to 13, for this most recent data we are consistent, so stable. This is a much more complex chart, but again, when you have some time, if you want to look at that in depth, it's posted on our website. But this breaks down by grade level, the percentage starting in 2019 in each of the categories. And then what it will also show is right here, the gain. So you'll see like grade 3 from last year to this year went from a 58% proficient to a 59, and an overall 2% increase. And then
Sixth grade did go down here, 4%, but I'm gonna show you in a minute that although the grade level went down in different students, so if you follow the students, all of our students grew. So we're happy with the growth. This is called a cohort, and this is what I was just talking about. These are the same students' consistent grades. So cohort is when you can follow the same exact set of students from one year to another. So let's say there's 20 students, and you follow those 20 students to the next grade and you saw their scores. The non-cohort would be any new students or students that weren't here in third grade but took the test in fourth grade, for example. So they are calculated into final averages, but they're not tracked for cohorts. So here, you can see that all of our cohorts made improvements here. So from grade 3 to 4, they went from 58 to 74. They made a massive gain there. They were the biggest growth. From 4 to 5 to 64 to 73, and then here's that sixth grade group. So even though sixth grade went down 3 points, they jumped from a 66 to a 74. So they still made almost a 10-point growth or 8-point growth, so significant. So all cohorts together is an overall about 9 points. And that's 9 percentage points, so it's great growth. And then I often get asked about state averages, so here's just a comparison. This is levels 1 through 3. So again, the lower the number. So grade 3, we went down 1.6% less in levels 1, 2, and 3. The state went down 1.3. Grade 4 went down 7%, so that was great. The state went down 2.8. I won't read all the statistics for you, but this side of the chart shows the passing rates, and we're pretty consistent with third grade, but we do outperform the state quite a bit here with growth in 4 and 5, especially at that grade 4 with that 7% and then grade 5, 6%. So some great growth there. Mathematics performance. So this is just last year's data again. Overall, we are at 68% for the district in levels 4 and 5. Only 3% here not meeting. That's pretty low compared to the state, as I'll show you later. Grades 4 and 5 showing the strongest growth here. You will see 6 performing the lowest. Again, that's consistent across the state because math standards shift then. It gets more, less calculations and arithmetic and more conceptual, arithmetic, geometry, so those concepts are introduced in 6th grade, so it becomes a different type of math. So students generally did it in 6th grade, and then we'll see those spike again in 7th. So that's consistent across the state. So here's that multi-year view, same grade, different students. Again, overall, we went up 3 percentage points. 4th grade had a 4-point growth, 5th grade was the strongest with a 6-point growth. This is that multi-year chart showing the gains and the losses. We have a slight loss here in 3rd grade, 1 point, but then 4-point growth, 6-point growth, and then that 3. Here's that cohort one again. I think this is the most important. It'll show you are that all the students still growing no matter what grade they're in, and you can see that they are. So even here from 3rd to 4th, they grow 2 points, they grow here, and there is a slight dip, like I said, from 4th to 5th, and that's something that we're aware of and that we're working on. There's a state comparison. So we're outperforming the state for both categories. Science, I mean, to look at this, honestly, these numbers are not, I'm not very proud of them, but when we got QSAC, they were like, you performed the highest. Did they say they got no? And I was like, oh, wow. So the science assessment, I think, where are we at here? Like 42. Yeah, we're at 42% proficient. That is so low, but it must be so common because they're changing the science assessment too. That's actually where they came up with the adaptive get started with the science because they're very aware that no one is successful here with science. That may have something to do with the grade bands, because the standards, for instance, are grade bands. So it's like you can teach these standards in 5th through 8th grade, but then they're giving you an assessment and you don't really know if you're teaching the right subjects because you have a choice of teaching anywhere in your 5th through 8th grade band. So we will see a change in the science assessment, not this year, it's supposed to be next year, but 42% is not something that anyone's real proud of, but we're still performing comparatively to our peers above them.
Yeah, I think that's certainly important to keep in mind when we're discussing and having meetings with the County Department of Education, and we were concerned with the science outcome, and just to ensure that we're giving our teachers the correct materials to teach, and we're following the correct scope and sequence, and teaching, as Mrs. Newman said, the right concepts during the year that they will be assessed, or a year that they have, after they've learned it, they'll be assessed, and not the other way around, because of us having these standards that we can teach from 5 through 8. But looking at us across the county and us being comparatively put where we are, clearly this is an assessment issue. So if we just take that 42 out of our minds and really focus on where we are compared to our peers across the county, and the most important thing, obviously, just ensuring that we're teaching the kids what they need to be taught in that 5th through 8th grade year span is really what we're focusing on. So we're teaching concepts in 6th grade and they're being assessed in 5th grade. That's why we're seeing these numbers. But again, as long as we get that instruction in those middle school years when we're supposed to, cut off of when we're supposed to from a standards place, we're doing what we need to do as a public school.
And there's a state comparison. Again, in terms of growth, we are pretty consistent with the state. But in terms of our data, I'm very pleased with our data. I know Dr. Freddie shared this with you, but we were named, Pleasant Valley School was named Washington County's top performing school, and that was based on this data. So what they give you is a summative score, and that's based on the student growth. They follow cohorts and see how much growth. You get a score of 1 to 100. It's converted based on their growth, and we were rated at a 93. I mean, we can't get much stronger than that, and I couldn't be more proud. It's definitely a collaborative effort. The community, the parents, the teachers, our admin team, we're all very involved in, looking at data and making sure we're doing the right thing. And I think that our work has really paid off. And I'm very proud of the scores we're seeing. And I just, we'll be so happy when all of our grade levels are where we were pre-COVID. I don't think we're far off from that.
And it's important to remember, Pleasant Valley School was named the top performing school, not the top performing elementary school. It's the top performing school in the whole county. So if you look at some of the larger districts that have 8 buildings, 10 buildings, each one of those schools in those districts are looked at separately. And Pleasant Valley School was the top performing school out of all of those schools in the 28 districts in the county. So it certainly is something to celebrate. And if I may just say that the amount of effort that Mrs. Heenan puts into breaking down our data and really looking at our data with a child's face on these numbers and ensuring that they are scheduled properly and getting interventions properly, and we're using grouping for interventions appropriately so that we're getting each one of our children where they need to be. It's so simple to look at some of this data and just forget that these are our children. You're just constantly looking at numbers in the curriculum office, but our team in the curriculum office and our entire administrative team, our entire teaching staff is the best that I've ever worked with in my career at remembering that we're not just looking at a dot on a chart, we're looking at Johnny and we're looking at Susie, and we're looking at those children from year to year and ensuring that we're prescribing education for individual kids that are going to get that individual child where they need to be. It's tireless work, but it's good work that's being done, and it's certainly something that the full staff, all the parents, and most importantly the children here should be very proud of, for sure.
And just to add to that, speaking of putting children's faces, this is something that we attacked pretty heavily, just approaching. So when you're like here, and he's not meeting or partially meeting, you're likely receiving services, whether you're special education, your basic skills, you're receiving a pretty prescribed remediation at that point. But these kiddos, they're like in the middle, they're on the bubble. Sometimes they're not passing by, there's a range, but sometimes they're not passing by, you know, a few questions. So this was where I sat down with each teacher and the building principals did, and we looked at them and we said, let's look at these kids who are here. Like, what can we do to boost them? And we kind of made like individualized plans for them. Like, let's look at their data. We broke down these state tests by standards, and we said, okay, like, for example, these kids are weak in narrative writing, so how can we infuse it more often? You know, are there little short writes we can do? So we would really break down what they were doing, and we focused on like, well, we looked at the, you know, the numbers, and we said, let's get this many, let's make it a goal to move this many kids forward. And you can see here some pretty significant growth. Like, we were in, you know, the 30s up here, about 30%. Now we're almost half of that. So I'm pretty happy with, again, 6th grade's a little bit of an outlier, but you'll see that in both math and ELA, that we call it the bubble kids. We were really able to move those bubble kids to be proficient. And that's important for their confidence too, especially at the elementary level. You know, if they feel like they're not passing the test level, they'll just think, well, I'm not good at it. So we're happy to see that movement, especially in that area. So yeah, we were really excited to be named the top school. You know, Dr. Russo is applying to be a Schools to Watch again. We were named the Schools to Watch in 2017, and we also looked into being named a Blue Ribbon School. We qualified for it based on data, but they selected randomly. So they let us know that our data would have qualified us, but they would have to randomly select it, and you only pick so many per year. So I'm like, remember us next year. You know, teachers are working hard. You want to recognize them for it.
When did they make a decision?
I'll have to look at the email. I contacted them in the summer, and I said, it looks like we meet the criteria. And they said, oh, you know, we look at the people who meet the criteria, and then we pick like 7 schools or something very low. I'm like, okay, well, keep us in mind. Our action steps haven't changed much since I presented last year, but we are implementing high quality curriculum, and we think that has made a difference. So in our 3 through 6, which I'm focusing on right now, we have a knowledge-based curriculum. What I love about it is it exposes kids, instead of the basal readers, made up stories, real topics in science and social studies. You know, they're learning about the sea, they're learning about the heart, you know, the circulatory system, they're learning about the Great Depression, and all of the students are learning. Whether you're special ed or getting DSI services, in the past, they used to kind of get pulled out, get reading on their level. Well, now they're all exposed to that, and they're all expected to, you know, write about those topics. So it might not, their writing might not look the same, but they're exposed to these rich topics too. Our Visions mathematics is very problem-based, and then we also do things like goals and incentives for the students for data. So there's monthly, for those of you who have kids here still, there's monthly school-wide goals, and students can earn at each chance. We do wristbands for iReady lessons, so every 20 increments they get called down. We celebrate them over the loudspeaker. When they complete 100 lessons, they get like an end-of-year breakfast. Here, if they complete 10 per month, the principal gets them a certificate. So we're really into incentives for the students. And then we use the diagnostic to guide our instruction to give interventions.
My daughter did her first iReady math bit tomorrow.
Yay! Not specific to the data, but I did just want to show you recently our 4th grade, Dr. Leeson, he's a parent in our district, and he has been coming in for the last 3 years and performing part dissection with our 4th graders. So they take about, well, it depends on what we get our hands on. So the first year we got a deer heart from someone who hunted. This year we bought pig hearts at a butcher. But he's been so gracious. So we're so lucky to have like community parents that do this for us. But they spend about 3 months learning about the heart, both figuratively and literally. So they learn about, you know, the chambers of the heart, how it runs through your system, what makes the heart strong. So that's the literal heart. And then they go into the figurative part, like what makes a good heart? People who are courageous, who look at historical figures that we can say are a good heart, have a good heart, and then they read a book called Love That Dog, about how a dog provides love to the main character. And after the literal heart, he came in, students can't really see this kid's face, but he's like, he's sticking his hand through one of the parts of the heart, and it was, they didn't have to do that, obviously, but they had the option to. So these are, fourth graders, and they're getting this experience, and they're learning so much that they can carry with them. So I just wanted to show you that. And then another thing we're doing in our math classrooms, which I do think has been helpful, is called Building Thinking Classroom. So it's probably like, oh, the vertical whiteboards. But the vertical whiteboards are something where instead of sitting and doing a worksheet, as you would to practice or apply mathematics, we're having students random groups with, every day working with different kids. They may or may not have learned the concept, and they're kind of problem solving together. They put their work on a vertical whiteboard. The purpose of that is that the teacher can quickly see, how they're doing, where their mistakes are, but they're problem solving it. So I just wanted to kind of show you that too, because that's been going really well. This is what it looks like. This other one's a little dizzier. But I mean, all the way down from third grade, we started it in 6th. So we have whiteboards that are posted around the room. The students are usually in groups of 3. There's a lot of mathematical discourse, and rather than just completing the workbook page, they're up, they're moving, it's age appropriate, and they're more actively involved, and we can see that everyone's participating. So yeah, we're really proud of the work that's happening, and hopefully we continue to kind of make that growth and see those successes. Any comments? Questions?
Thank you for doing everything you do, and congratulations on the success of the district.
Thank you. Really proud.
To see the different types of learning that you're doing, I just said exactly what you said, like not just workbook page. I'm gonna guarantee you when those kids are 30 and 40 and 50, they're still gonna remember the deer part, so.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well done, thank you.
I know I'm not gonna forget it.
Did you have one slide that said the state average on the decrease was up, but ours was down?
I also have,
Level 1 and 2.
Yeah, the amount of we went down was better than the state. I don't know.
I also have some
I think the
comparatives.
state was like +2, we were -1.
Go back.
And what is the next one?
I mean, here, this might be it. So it changes, we're -7 here, so that's significant compared to the states. You want, like I said, you want this number to go down.
Right.
So we went down a lot more than the state went down, which is good. And I also have some comparatives that I can hand out. I don't know how interested you all are. But this is not the most recent data because it's not all compiled yet. But something that's good that we also look at is compared to Gloucester County, but also our district factor group, because we look different than other schools, and even when we're compared to our district factor group, we're pretty much outperforming all of our district factor. So it's typical for us to outperform the state and the county, but we also are comparative or outperforming our district factor. So I think that's ELA, I'll also do that.
Make sure you do it first, and I'll take any extra.
Yeah, so these will get updated with, this year's score too. Put it we have to wait for all the districts to report publicly before this is compiled. And remember, we had this team, that would take a while to get all together.
Does anybody have any questions for Mrs. Neeting as she's passing out the map? Before we move on? Well,
A little bit of both. A little bit of both.
Mrs. Neeting, thank you once again for coming. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. And if you ever have any questions afterwards, you can also reach out to me.
Towards the end, the one that showed places down there, the 93, you said, you have to excuse my eyes, but I thought it said 93.2, and the one that, the second place, the one that nipping it out here, what's that number? I can't see, 92.6. See that? Okay. All right.
I know, it's hard to see.
And actually, in comparison, that's also Washington Township School District,
Three, so you can't compare.
so we know that they're a monster.
So it's only the Pleasant Valley that
And
can
we're doing better than that.
compare them from third grade grade to fourth grade straight.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mrs. Neeting. Moving on in your agenda, we just want to let the Board of Education know, we, obviously, as we're aware, had a resignation of our former president, so that gives a hole in the area of president of the Board of Education. So we will be taking nominations for president for the Board of Education this evening. It is important to remember that this is for the remainder of the November meeting and our December meeting. And in January, when we have our normal reorganization meeting, we will be taking nominations for president and vice president again, as usual, what's done at every reorganization meeting. So the nominations that we're taking this evening for president, again, will be for the remainder of the November meeting and the December meeting, and we will be taking nominations again in our reorg meeting in the beginning of January. Just for procedural reminder.
Okay. So before I open for nominations, two things need to be reminded. When someone nominates somebody, there is no need for a second to the nomination. Just the person nominated needs to acknowledge acceptance of that nomination. That's it. There is no, second required. And then obviously just accept the nomination. So I declare nominations for the office of board president open.
I nominate John Kavanaugh.
Kevin, okay. Do I have any other nominations? Okay. Nominations for board president are closed. We will go through a roll call vote in order of nomination. So the first nomination was for John Kavanaugh. Roll call vote. Todd Barron.
Yes.
Tim Bass.
Yes.
Jennifer Bowen.
No.
Walter Bright.
No.
John Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Jeanette Kozlov. Alexis Rubino.
Yes.
Shannon Williams.
No.
Next vote for Shannon Williams. Todd Barron.
No.
Tim Bass.
No.
Jennifer Bowen.
Yes.
Walter Bright.
Yes.
John Kavanaugh.
No.
Jeanette Kozlov.
Yes.
Alexis Rubino.
No.
Shannon Williams.
Yes.
I have declared that Shannon Williams is elected to the office of board president. Oh, it's my fault. I counted wrong. That's 4-4. Sorry about that. I was counting 9. those are,
So we can table for, if there's no other nominations, we table for next month.
okay. So that will be tabled for next month. We continue as, current. Shannon holding the, gavel.
Yes, everybody's.
We'll just need to have a motion to, add the agenda, or the addendum.
I need a motion to add the addendum to the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We gotta add
Yeah, we're adding, adding the addendum prior to audience participation.
Right.
All right, Todd Barron,
Yes.
Tim Bass,
Yes.
Jennifer Bono,
Yes.
Walter Gray,
Yes.
John Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Jeanette Cazza,
Yes.
Alexis Rubino,
Yes.
Shannon Williams.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
That brings us to the first audience participation. So, please wait to be recognized by me. State your full name and address, identify the agenda item you wish to comment on, wait to be recognized before making your comments, and limit your comments to specific agenda items. None? Alright, next is the approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Ned? Second?
I'll do it. I'll second it.
Roll call?
Todd Barron,
Yes.
Tim Bass,
Yes.
Jennifer Bono,
Yes.
Walter Gray,
Yes.
John Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Jeanette Cazza, Alexis Rubino, Shannon Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Committee reports, so Walter, Finance?
There's nothing.
Curriculum, John, anything to report?
Nope.
Nothing for personnel, negotiations, Jen, nothing to report. Todd,
Nothing.
Jeanette, public relations, nothing to report. Nothing for school safety. Shared services, John,
Nope.
Tim?
Nothing to report.
Okay. There's 2 items under correspondence, and then the business administrator's report, there are 11 items.
12 with the
Well,
agenda.
with the agenda.
So this is for items 1 through 12.
Okay, motion?
I'll make that motion. Make the motion to approve.
And I'll second.
Thanks, Jen. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Todd Barron,
Yes.
Tim Bass,
Yes.
Jennifer Bono,
Yes.
Walter Gray,
Yes.
John Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Jeanette Cazza,
Yes.
Alexis Rubino,
Yes.
Shannon Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under superintendent's report, there are 7 total items, 6 on the, 7 on the agenda. Any motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Alexis and Jen Bones. Roll call? Oh, comments or questions?
Yes. The resignation of Raymond Myers, number 2 on your addendum, I'd like to thank Ray for 11 years of service as a custodian in our district, working both buildings, most recently at Pleasant Valley School. And also the resignation of Erin Durkin, number 3, she is a school nurse at Harrison Township School, and she has she's in her 4th year of service in that position, so we certainly wish her well also as she moves on, and we thank her both for her service to the district.
Anyone else? Roll call?
Todd Barron,
Yes.
Tim Bass,
Yes.
Jen Bono,
Yes.
Walter Gray,
Yes.
John Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Jeanette Cazza, Alexis Rubino,
Yes.
Shannon Williams. Motion carries.
Nothing under education, administration, there are 4 items. Can I get a motion to approve?
Make that motion.
Todd.
I'll second. Thanks, Jeanette. Questions, comments? Roll call?
Todd Barron,
Yes.
Tim Bass,
Yes.
Jennifer Bono,
Yes.
Walter Gray, Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Jeanette Cazza.
Yes.
Alexis Rubino.
Yes.
Shannon White.
Yes.
Motion carries.
There's no items under policy, there's one under transportation. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'm the second.
Questions? Comments? Roll call.
John Barron.
Yes.
Tim Bass.
Yes.
Jennifer Bowe.
Yes.
Walter Gray.
Yes.
John Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Jeanette Cazza.
Yes.
Colleen Kim, oh, sorry, missed that one. Alexis Rubino.
Yes.
Shannon White.
Under buildings and grounds, there's one item. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Jeanette.
I'll second.
Thanks, Todd. That's all.
Yep.
Questions or comments? Roll call.
Todd Barron.
Yes.
Tim Bass.
Yes.
Jennifer Bowe.
Yes.
Walter Gray.
Yes.
John Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Jeanette Cazza.
Yes.
Alexis Rubino.
Yes.
Shannon White. Motion carries.
New business?
Yes, student ambassador dates, we have just been discussing student ambassadors being added to our Board of Education meetings. We had our first students welcomed last month. Obviously, this month, the presentation was our steam tank winners. The upcoming months that we will be welcoming student ambassadors again will be January. That's the regular Board of Education meeting, not the reorg meeting. March and May of 2026. So those will be the remaining dates for this academic year. And just a reminder to all of our Board of Education members, as well as the public who are here and has been updated on our website, the December meeting has been changed to Tuesday, December the 16th. It was originally scheduled for Monday, December 15th. That is the same date, the only date that we were able to coordinate with Clearview for our band and choir concert with our PBS students. So in order to have those two things not meeting against one another, we're moving our Board of Education meeting to that Tuesday. PBS playground update, I had a couple of questions. We have swings that need to be fixed, we have basketball hoops that need to be fixed and shored up. We also have the netting that is around the larger play area, outside of our Pleasant High School, actually on all of these on our township property, but it is what we use for our recess equipment. And we need pretty extensive safety upgrades. The netting that the kids crawl on this play set actually is worn and needs to be replaced. It's down to the metal. Obviously, dangerous. Our swing sets, the bolts and everything need to be replaced. And the basketball hoops, again, the bolts, some of them are stripped, need to be replaced. We did get one or more quotes at this time, and it's around $15,000 to fix all of that. So we are working with a couple of different sources in order to get those areas fixed as soon as possible. But obviously, they are out of use for when our kids are out there. It's a safety concern. We are moving as fast as we can to get them fixed, but that is what the issue is. So again, I have a couple questions on that. And that's all I have, and no old business.
That's
I had one thing to bring up. I want to acknowledge the former explorers and the Clearview field hockey team, which just won the state championship, and Todd has daughters of that team, but great accomplishment by them.
What was the name of the team?
Clearview field
Girls
hockey
field hockey
team.
team.
The Clearview Field Hockey Team?
team.
The varsity team? They won what state? Wow.
Third time.